everyone, what is going on? And welcome to my tournament recap, the biggest tournament in the United States, one of the biggest tournaments in the world. I think we had close to 150 people, so it's absolutely crazy, absolutely insane. And I just wanted to take a moment to thank, well, first of all, I wanted to thank Mike for trading me the Last Resort Umbreon. It actually did re-roll below 1500, so I did have a Last Resort Umbreon for the tournament, so thank you so much for that. And I wanted to thank all the other people that came up to me and told me how much they loved my videos and they can't wait to watch them every single day. They watch them all the time, and I totally appreciate that. I even had a dad come up with his son saying his son loves my videos, and that meant so much to me. You know, I love kids, so thank you so much for that. It meant so much to me, and I totally appreciate it. And yeah, it was just so fun meeting all the other content creators, taking all these pictures. So much fun, and I can't wait to do it again. Now, I would have preferred to do a little bit better than I did. I didn't really do that well in this tournament, but that's okay. This was the biggest tournament I've ever went to. The last biggest one was only 5 rounds, which I actually ended up winning, but this one I certainly did not win. And we're going to go ahead and take a look at my recap in a minute, but I wanted to show you my team. I do have Minun, Nidoqueen, Alolan Ninetales, Umbreon with Last Resort, B-Barrel, and Alolan Sandslash. So the Sandslash was kind of like a last-minute decision. I was going to go with either Donphan or I think another Charm user like Granbull, but I ultimately ended up going with Alolan Sandslash. So I think the team was pretty good. But yeah, I guess I could have played better probably, you know, but that's okay because I had a world of fun and I cannot wait to do it again. Can't wait for the next big tournament that I'm able to go. But without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into my tournament recap. So, my first opponent of the day, round 1, she is going to have Alolan Ninetales, Umbreon, Vaporeon, Suicune, Aggron, and Nidoqueen. So let's go ahead and see what happens. I have my Umbreon against her Suicune, so I am going to go ahead and fire off this Foul Play. And I figure I want to get as much Foul Plays off as possible immediately. I didn't want to wait to try and charge up energy because I didn't want to be hit with a Bubble Beam and it lowered my attack. I'd rather just do as much damage as possible. So she does fire off an attack, and it is a Hydro Pump. I was thinking it might be because she charged up enough for a Hydro Pump, but I wasn't going to shield anyway because I knew Umbreon could take it. So we are going to go for the Foul Play, and that will be met with a shield. So we do take the shield. So I am not going to block this thinking it's a Bubble Beam, as it is. So it does lower our attack. That's why I was going for all the Foul Play. So a little bit unfortunate, but she does go for another move. Again, I'm not going to block it thinking it's a Bubble Beam, but it's a Hydro Pump. So she does go ahead and knock me out. So nicely played. Obviously, I really don't want to bring in Nidoqueen, so I do bring in my B-Barrel, and she does hit us with a Charge move, which, again, I'm pretty confident Bubble Beam. It is Bubble Beam, which is fine, but again, it lowers our attack, which is not fine, but it is what it is. So she brings in an Umbreon of her own, so I'm going to go ahead and go for that Hyper Fang. You know what, Surf may have been a better option, but we do go for the Hyper Fang, and I'm actually able to get to another Surf, so I do go ahead and get to that Surf right now, and we're just trying to get as much damage onto Umbreon as possible because it's always good to get as much damage as possible on an Umbreon because it's so tanky and it really only has, or at least I only have one counter, which is Alolan Ninetales. So I am going to let B-Barrel go down. I still have 2 shields, but I decide to let it go down, and I'm banking on my Nidoqueen to save me. So let's see what happens. So she is going to go for a Charge move, and I'm like, I have to start using shield. I don't want to lose with 2 shields, right? So she pulls the switch, and as soon as I see her pull the switch, I go for my Charge move, which is Earth Power. And it is met with a shield, so at least we take her final shield. So when I saw that Ninetales, I was like, oh, I could actually win this. So let's see. So we actually get a little bit of lag, but both of us agreed that it didn't really affect the game. As you could see, we both lagged. Neither of us were doing damage. You know, some damage applied, but it applied to both of us. So we didn't find it necessary to restart. So I'm gonna go ahead and get and block this Psyshock. Obviously, I have to. It would have knocked me out. And I was going to try and feint the Alolan Ninetales down, and perhaps I should have done that, but I was afraid that she would get to another Psyshock. But we're actually able to get to another Earth Power and take the win from this Umbreon. So we do go ahead and win that. So perhaps maybe I should have tried to feint down the Ninetales. Maybe that was a mistake. But either way, we do go ahead and win it. So it is what it is. But let's go ahead and jump into game 2. So very good game. So I lead with Minun, and she leads with the Alolan Ninetales. So we have a little bit of lag again. And yeah, so, but again, both of us agreed that there was no reason to restart. Neither of us were really interested in restarting. So I do go for the discharge because I know that a lot of people like to protect their Alolan Ninetales. So I figured let's use the less energy efficient move. So we do go ahead and go for that discharge. She will block that and then knock out my Minun. I bring in B-Barrel, and we're just charging up, getting to a Surf, and we're going to go ahead and fire off that Surf. So let's see what happens. She does go ahead and block it, so it is good that we take both shields, but this Alolan Ninetales is really doing some damage to us. I'm going to go ahead and block that, and we're trying to just feint down the Ninetales. We are able to feint it down. I only have like 1 HP left. I cannot go for the Hyper Fang, so I have to go for the Surf. And I do decide to go for the Surf. Unfortunately, it is a Vaporeon, which is kind of what I was worried about. But I'd still go for the Surf anyway because I wanted to get any damage off against that Vaporeon. So she does bring in she has Vaporeon. So I do go for the Foul Play from Umbreon, and it will do a good amount of damage. She switches into an Umbreon of her own, which is really unfortunate for me. So I'm going to go ahead and go for that last resort. Just trying to do as much damage as possible to this Umbreon. I knew it was going to be a close game because I have 1 shield. She is basically at an advantage though because she has a Pokemon in the back. So she does hit me with Last Resort. I'm thinking about when should I use my shield. So I'm going to go ahead and fire off a Last Resort as well. And I'm just trying to do as much damage as possible, as I said. She is going to go ahead and fire off a charge move, which I believe will be that Last Resort, as it should be, which is fine. So I'm going to go ahead and go for a Last Resort. Yeah, these Umbreon mirror matches are really slow, so I do apologize, guys, but it is what it is, Anyway, we're going to go ahead and block this because I have to use the shield eventually, we have to try and win. So I am going to almost get to my Foul Play. Unfortunately, she gets to Foul Play before I was able to, so she does hit us with Foul Play. However, we still survive, and I'm trying to charge up energy because I know there's a Vaporeon in the back, so I do charge up a little bit extra and get off a Foul Play, but she's able to bring in the Vaporeon with energy. I was 1 short. I was 1 Snarl short. So if I charge up 1 more, it's possible that I could have gotten to that Foul Play first. Maybe it would have depended on a CMP time. I'm not really too sure. But either way, she does go ahead and win it fair and square. So it was a really good game. So we're going to jump into the game 3, which is the final game. So it is an Alolan Ninetales mirror match. So the way I generally like to play this is I don't like shielding because I don't like using a charge move. So as you can see, she used a charge move. I'm going to have to use a shield, but because she used a charge move, she loses 1 charm damage, right? So I am able to get off an extra charm and knock her out and have energy. Now it does cost me a shield, but I still think it's worth it because we have the switch advantage. So I learned that from King, I believe. I think maybe House Stark was doing that. I'm not really too sure, but I think I saw it in King's video. But because we resist Snarl, I'm actually able to get to another Psyshock, which I didn't expect, and that will be blocked. So at least we take away 1 of her shields. So even on shields, we do have the switch advantage, as I said. I'm going to go ahead and bring in B-Barrel, and I'm like, oh, this could be Hydro Pump, right? So I don't block it. It is Hydro Pump, so that takes away about half of our health. So nicely played. And I am not going to block this, I don't think. Actually, I do block it. It's a Bubble Beam, so I called that wrong. I called that 100% wrong, but we do feint the Suicune. And it's an Umbreon as the last Pokemon. So I'm going to go ahead and fire off a Surf, and that will be blocked, so that's fine. I'm glad, actually, she got rid of the last shield. I really wish I didn't block that Suicune, though, but I did. Going to get off another Surf. I'm just trying to do as much damage as possible. I know my attack is weak, but I'm trying to get as much damage off against this Umbreon. She will knock out my B-Barrel, and then I bring in Nidoqueen. I'm like, okay, all I have to do is get to... I didn't think an Earth Power would feint. Let's see, do I go for an Earthquake or an Earth Power? I think I go for that Earthquake. Let's see if I'm wrong. Yeah, I'm going for the Earthquake because I knew the Earthquake would feint, and I wasn't sure if the Earth Power would. So we do go ahead and knock out Umbreon. We actually go ahead and win round 1. So 7 rounds to go. Good games. A pleasure battling. Can't wait to battle again if we ever do. Picking up a fast TM to boot. So, nice way to end round 1. So we're going up against none other than Arrow. Oh man, I was like, oh gosh, okay. So, he has Alola Ninetales, Umbreon, Vaporeon, Raichu, Lairon, and Nidoqueen. So, I lead with Nidoqueen, he leads with his Umbreon. So, not really a good matchup for me. He's going to be able to get off those foul plays and spam them my direction. So, I do go ahead and go for the Earth Plate, knowing that a lot of people don't like to shield right away from Nidoqueen, especially if they have the Umbreon, because Umbreon can just take moves all day long. So foul play is coming my way, unfortunately, and I didn't think I would be able to get to another Earth Power. As you could see, we're not able to. Now this was a mistake. I do block that, thinking I could get to the Earth Power, but he does feint me. He was really shocked that I went for that. So I made a mistake. Shouldn't have done that. I actually would have won this game if I didn't block that, if I kept that shield, but I felt confident that I could have gotten to the Earth Power, but I wasn't able to. So definitely a mistake on my end, but that's okay. So we go ahead and knock out his Umbreon, and let's see what he decides to bring in. It is going to be that Lairon, so obviously I'm not going to go for Last Resort. I will go for Foul Play. So just trying to get as much damage as possible. I switch right away into B-Barrel. Water Gun's just going to town against Lairon. I do let this go through. It is going to be Rock Slide. So, I could have blocked that instead of blocking earlier. But I wanted to save my last shield. So, yeah, that's why I'm saying I shouldn't have blocked earlier. But that's okay. We get off the Surf against his Vaporeon, and he is going to go ahead and shield that one. So at least we take a shield. Now he's going to go for the Aqua Tail to knock out B-Barrel. And now all I have is my Umbreon available. And we're going to go ahead and go for the Foul Play. So let's see. The Foul Play will do a decent amount of damage. We're trying to get to another one. Are we able to? Yes, we are. So we do get to another Foul Play, which is good. And let's see if we're able to knock him out. No, we're not. So unfortunately, we do not knock him out with that Foul Play. So we're going to go ahead and shield this Aqua Tail. And he will switch into Lairon, and we do get to the Foul Play, so I figured at this point his last shield probably would come up, and it does, so he does go ahead and block that, so he is now out of shield. So as you can see, yeah, I mean, if we kept one of the shields, we could have blocked this attack, and it didn't knock us out, so we're able to actually knock him out. But we're going to go ahead and go for the Foul Play right now. So we do knock out the Lairon. So he brings in Vaporeon and knocks me out. I'm sorry, guys. Something got caught in my throat. Either way, could have had that one, but that's okay. So we're going to go ahead and jump into Game 2. So we both lead with Nidoqueen. And I noticed that there was a little bit of lag, so we decided to quit out because there was a little bit of lag. And nobody's fault. It just happened. I should have edited out this part, but I totally forgot to do it. So I do apologize for that, guys. So he's sending me another battle. And we're just going in with the same lead. Or the same team, actually. So I'm going to just go in with the same team. So it's Nidoqueen, B-Bell, and Umbreon. So we're going to jump into another one. And this is still Game 2, of course, so it is the Nidoqueen lead, so let's see what happens this time. And we're both just going to town with Poison Jabs, and I'm trying to get to the Earth Power first. We are successfully able to, so now I know a shield absolutely has to come out, of course. So it does, and he is going to get off his, but at least I got a Poison Jab in before he got off his Earth Power. Of course, I'm going to have to block that, and now it's just a race to the next Earth Power. And I do get to my Earth Power. I am up a Poison Jab, so that's good for us. That will be met with a shield, of course, as expected. Now I'm going to have to burn my last shield if I want to stay alive. So I do go ahead and block that Earth Power. He does switch into Vaporeon. So I switch. I took a little bit longer than I should have to switch, but it's okay. So he's going to get off his charge move. Let's see what it is. It is going to be Last Resort, so that's going to do a good amount of damage to me, and I am able to get off my Hyper Fang against his Vaporeon. So doing a good amount of damage to him, and trying to feint him down. Unfortunately, he's able to get to a charge move before we're able to feint him down. So he is going to hit us with an Aqua Tail, which will knock us out, and then I bring in my Umbreon to feint him. And let's see what he decides to bring in. It is going to be that Nidoqueen, so I do get to the Foul Play. Now, unfortunately, I wish I had my Needle Queen to do the Earth Power. I do have it in the back, but he does get off his charge move against me, which is going to be the Earth Power, doing a decent amount of damage. And then we do get to another foul play, which I knew would knock out the Needle Queen. So I was looking to win this one. I mean, it was looking pretty good for me, right? Because we did knock out Needle Queen. His final Pokemon is that Umbreon. And my defense is lowered from Needle Queen from earlier, if you could tell. So that definitely didn't help me. He is able to get off a foul play. I was trying to get to the Earthquake. So I thought I had this one, but yeah, not looking too hot for us. Anyway, we are going to continue to charge up for Last Resort. It's basically a moot point. We can't win at this point. So again, Umbreon versus Umbreon, but his Umbreon is healthier than mine. So definitely can't win. Unfortunately, couldn't get off the Earth Power. Even if I could, maybe I could have won this one. I don't know. We were in a pretty good position, but not able to pull it through. And I just figured, you know what, there's really no point in going for another Last Resort, so we'll just let him take this one. So he does go ahead and get off that foul play, and he does win that. So good game. So he does win round 2. However, we are going to play round 3. So I am going to lead with Alolan Ninetales versus his Alolan Ninetales. So it is a mirror match, as we've seen before. So let's see what happens. He does actually pull the switch into Vaporeon, and I was like, okay, this is not terrible for us. Now, maybe I shouldn't have used 2 shields. I do use 2 shields protecting my Ninetales. I thought I would be able to knock out the Vaporeon before I had to use another one, but we were not able to. So I do go ahead and throw up 2 shields early, so we are down 2 shields. So perhaps shouldn't have done that. I'm not really too sure. We do lag a little bit, but again, it doesn't really affect us, we don't think. Actually, we like quite a bit, but anyway, we were both cool with it. It was the 3rd game anyway. He already won round 2. So he does bring in his Laren. I'm going to go ahead and get off the Psyshock just to do whatever damage I can, obviously pulling the switch into B-Barrel. And I'm trying to Water Gun him down. He is going to get off a charge move. Let's see what that charge move is. It is going to be Rock Slide, as expected. And he does switch into his Alolan Ninetales. So we do go ahead and fire off the Surf. I do want to try and pick up a couple of his shields, or at least one. But he has Powder Snow on his Ninetales. Now, that was really unfortunate to see because I have a Needle Queen in the back. So if he didn't have Powder Snow, we would have had this one. So could have won it if he had Charm, but he doesn't, because as you can see, Needle Queen is going to town, doing a decent amount of damage, but he's able to charge up really fast with Powder Snow, hit us for a lot of damage with that Psyshock, right? So he does do a lot of damage to us. We hit him with Earth Power, and then he will bring in his Laren. I switch immediately to my Ninetales, and he does farm us down. I don't know. I mean, I guess I didn't have to switch, but, you know, even if I got to Earth Power, he would have shielded it, and Poison Jabs are not going to be enough to take out Laren. So he won that one, man. But that was nice, though. That was nice. Nice bluff, you know, with that move, right? So he does win round 2. So we're going into my next opponent, round 3, with Alolan Ninetales, Umbreon, Minun, Linoone, B-Barrel, and Needle Queen. So I lead with Umbreon, and she'll lead with B-Barrel. So let's see what happens. So we are going to take this Surf to the face because we could take moves from B-Barrel, right? So charging up quite a bit of energy with this Umbreon. So I'm going to go ahead and fire off a Foul Play, and we actually get 2 Foul Plays back to back. So let's see what happens. So she is going to go ahead and decide to shield that. So at least we do take a shield, so I'm really happy about that. I want to preserve both of mine, so I am going to take this Surf. And as you can see, we do take it. And I knew I could get to another Foul Play before she fainted me, so I do go get to that Foul Play. And she is going to go ahead and opt to block that. So we took 2 shields. So she will beat Umbreon, but I feel like it's worth it because we do take both of her shields. So that was really good for me, in my opinion. So we're going to go ahead and bring in B-Barrel versus B-Barrel. So right now, I know I could take whatever move it is. It is Surf. That actually does a decent amount, more than I thought it would. I don't know. So we're just going to get to Surf and fire off Surf just to knock out B-Barrel. Now keep in mind, we are still up 2 shields, so I like the position that we're in. She does bring in Minun, which is obviously not good for me, but at the same time, you know, Minun and other electric Pokemon do not resist water moves, so we still are able to do a good amount of damage before we decide to go down. And I do let B-Barrel go down, and I figured I would keep both my shields for this Alolan Ninetales. So We do go ahead and knock out Minun, and she brings in Umbreon. I was so happy to see Umbreon. So definitely got this game. We're going to go ahead and shield this. We could have taken that as well, but why not shield, right? So I figured we'll just charge up to the Ice Beam because I know Psyshock isn't going to do much to a dark Pokemon like Umbreon. Ice Beam didn't even knock it out, but then Charm will. So we do go ahead and win that. So those shields definitely coming in handy, at least one of them. So we do win that, as I said. So good game, good game. So we're going to jump into game 2 and let's see what happens. So I do go ahead and lead with Umbreon, and she leads with Alolan Ninetales. So definitely not a good lead matchup for me, so I have to get out, right? I switch into B-Barrel. She switches into Linoon, which is really not that good for me because of Grass Knot. So I know I am going to have to shield if I want to keep B-Barrel alive. So at least we take a shield from her, though. So I'm going to go ahead and shield because, as I said, I don't want to be knocked out from the Grass Knot. So I am charging up to Surf and Hyper Fang. I do decide to go for the Hyper Fang, trying to do a lot of damage, not expecting a shield. She does not shield, and I'm hoping to faint before she's able to get to a Grass Knot, but unfortunately that doesn't happen, so I do go ahead and give up my last shield. So using my shield early this game, I could have let B-Barrel go down, but I decided to use both shields. She brings in a B-Barrel of her own, so I am going to go ahead and get to that Hyper Fang, not expecting a shield. So we do get to that Hyper Fang, and that will do a decent amount of damage. As I said, she didn't use a shield. She's going to get to a charge move of her own, so I will be able to not take this. So she does knock us out. So good play. Good play. So my basic goal here was like, okay, well, she still has one shield. Well, maybe I'll be able to knock out her last Pokemon with Charm from Alolan Ninetales, and the shield will not matter. So let's see. So she is going to go ahead and go for the Surf right now. And we're just trying to feint down. And Snarl does feint down B-Barrel, so we are going to go for the Foul Play against the Alolan Ninetales. Unfortunately, I didn't even wait to see what comes in. So she doesn't shield, so that was a nice no shield. But at this point, I felt pretty confident in the game because look how low she is, or her Alolan Ninetales. Yes, she gets off a Psyshock, but I knew I could easily take that. And we are going to be able to feint the last Pokemon. So we actually do win round 2. But we are going to be playing a game 3, of course. So we're going to go ahead and jump into the next game. I do lead with my Umbreon again. She leads with Nidoqueen. So I led with Umbreon every game in round 3. So just charging up energy as I always do. I don't care if she goes for an Earthquake, Earth Power. This I know is not an Earthquake because it was too fast. It's an Earth Power. Luckily for us, she doesn't get the defense drop, but we're able to go for a Foul Play right now. And that will do a decent amount of damage, and we're going to go for another one. So we go for back-to-back Foul Plays as we have several times. That's what Umbreon likes to do, right? So we do experience lag right now, but it doesn't really matter because, again, I already won the match. But either way, we're going to move forward, and we're going to just keep on playing it out. So she does go ahead and get off her charge move. What happens? I do decide to go ahead and shield this one, and it is an Earth Power. And that's because I wanted to get off a Foul Play and try and knock out the Nidoqueen. So that's why I decided to shield that. She does shield, though, which is actually good for me because we're able to get to another Foul Play and knock out Nidoqueen anyway. So perhaps a mistake on that shield, but that's okay. That's okay. So we do go ahead and knock out Nidoqueen. She does bring in the Minun, and I figured, okay, I'll just stick around, hang out, and we'll go ahead and go for the Foul Play. And just do as much damage on against this Minun as possible. And she actually does farm us down, though, which is a little bit scary, to be honest with you, because we have a B-Barrel as well as a Ninetales in the back. So I do decide to shield this. It is going to be a discharge, so I didn't have to shield it, but she does get off another charge move. Let's see, is it another discharge? It is, so it didn't really matter. I guess I would have shielded one of them. So we are able to feint down the Minun, which is what I wanted to do. So we do feint down Minun. We're almost at the Psyshock, so I just want to see what comes in. And it is going to be an opposing Alolan Ninetales. So I do go ahead and go for the Psyshock because I just want to get as much damage as possible. And I don't want that Ninetales to farm me up. So I do go ahead and switch into B-Barrel. And she does get off a charge move against us, which is obviously going to be Psyshock, which is totally fine. Psyshock does not knock us out, and we do get to the Surf. and we are able to win this. So we do win round 3-0. So it was a very good game, though. Very good game. Very good matches. And it was a pleasure battling. So thank you so much for battling. So yeah, we do go ahead. So currently we're 2-1. So we're going to jump into my next opponent, which is, Toshi. So I'm like, another really difficult opponent. Every opponent was difficult, but Toshi, wow, we're battling Toshi. So his team is Alolan Ninetales, Umbreon, Vaporeon, Skuntank, Bibel, and Nidoqueen. So right now I have my Queen against Skuntank, and I'm going to go ahead and be hit with Crunch. I shouldn't have switched into Nidoqueen. That was a mistake. I just switched into it thinking, okay, I have ground moves, so we could take some shield, but it still takes time to get a lot of damage from Crunch. So that was definitely a mistake. I should not have switched into Nidoqueen, but it's okay. So we're going to let Nidoqueen go down. Well, it doesn't go down, but she's going to go down right now. And I believe I bring back in Umbreon, so I should have just stayed in with Umbreon. I don't know why I didn't. I should have just went for Last Resort. It's total mistake on my end. Total mistake on my end. Anyway, we do go for the Last Resort. The one thing I will say is at least Nidoqueen took a shield, right? So she is going to go ahead, or he is going to go ahead, and get off Sludge Bomb. And I do charge up a little bit extra and then go for the Foul Play. So let's see if it's going to knock out or if it's going to take a last shield. It does knock out the Skuntank, and then he brings in his Umbreon, and I am just going to fire off the Last Resort, of course. Just want to get as much damage as possible on the opposing Umbreon. So let's see. We're going to go ahead and shield this one up. It's actually a Dark Pulse. Obviously, I was expecting Last Resort, but it was a Dark Pulse. And then Umbreon comes in, so we're going to go ahead and fire off a Foul Play. And that Foul Play is going to do a decent amount of damage. We actually get off another one, so that's how fast Foul Play is. I love Foul Play on Umbreon. I love Snarl, love Foul Play, and he'll let it go through as well. So Umbreon getting pretty weak. He does knock us out, though. And then we bring in Bibel, and I believe I take this. Yeah, I do take this attack. It is going to be a Last Resort, unfortunately. I was hoping it would be an Aqua Tail, but I guess Last Resort obviously makes more sense. We actually get hit with another charge move, and I'm figuring this is Aqua Tail. It is. So I was like, I'm going to take it, and yeah, not really looking good for us because that Umbreon is healthy, so there's nothing we could do at this point. I could have used my shield earlier, I guess, against the Last Resort from the Vaporeon. I don't think it mattered. We're going to get off a Surf. I mean, he still has a shield, so yeah, I would say the big mistake of this game, actually he doesn't have a shield, he burned it, but yeah, I would say the big mistake of this game was switching my lead. I should have kept in Umbreon. But anyway, we're going to jump into game 2. I do lead with Nidoqueen. He leads with his Umbreon. So I do go ahead and pull the switch immediately into my Alolan Ninetales. He will switch into Skuntank. And I'm okay with this switch because this is kind of even. We're taking a lot of damage, but at the same time we're also dishing out a lot of damage because it is neutral to Charm. It's not a bulky Pokemon, so it's not really a great counter to Alolan Ninetales. It's okay because it's doing a lot with Poison Jab. But anyway, I click on Ice Beam immediately, not seeing what comes in. It will be Vaporeon, but either way, at least we took a shield, right? But we might have actually been able to get to another Psyshock if we went for Psyshock originally, so perhaps another mistake, but I'm not too sure. But either way, it's Bibel versus Vaporeon. And Vaporeon will go for that Last Resort, doing a lot of damage to me, and he brings in Umbreon. I switch into Nidoqueen immediately. And I do block this because I knew it would do a lot of damage and I didn't want to take it. So that's why I go ahead and do that. So anyway, he'll get off another charge move. We're stuck. We can't do anything. We're going to take this Dark Pulse. As you can see, doing a good amount of damage. We do charge up and I do decide to go for the Earth Power, expecting the shield, fully expecting that shield. So he does go ahead and shield. So let's see what happens. He's going to hit us with a charge move, and this should be the end of my Nidoqueen, as it is. So Nidoqueen is knocked out, and we do charge up a little bit extra and get off the Surf. And perhaps should have went for the Hyper Fang, but he does switch out into Vaporeon, and now we go for the Hyper Fang. If we went for the Hyper Fang on Umbreon, I think it would have knocked him out. I'm not sure. But anyway, we knock out Vaporeon, and then he brings in Umbreon, and Umbreon faints. Luckily, he must have been at the Foul Play or very close to it, so we take that win, but it was very close. So really good game, Toshi. So we're moving on to game 3, so let's see what happens. So I lead with Alolan Ninetales versus Skuntank. So as I said, yes, Skuntank does well against Alolan Ninetales, but Charm is also doing good damage to it as well, so I'm okay with this. So I do go ahead and throw that shield because I do not want to take that. It is a crunch, so we could have taken it, but then Poison Jabs would have done a lot. Unfortunately, he gets to another one, so I'm going to burn both shields early on. I never like to do it. That's why usually I don't like leading Alola Ninetales, but I did this time. I did lead with it. I am going for the Psyshock. At least we take a shield, so I am going to switch in my B-Bell right afterwards, just so he doesn't get up a lot of energy, right? So he's going to go ahead and fire off a Last Resort against us, and I do go for the Hyper Fang. Not really sure if I expected the shield at this point or not. He does decide to use the shield. I guess he didn't want to take that Hyper Fang. Would that have knocked out Vaporeon? It might have, I'm not sure. But either way, he's going to go for the Aqua Tail and knock out B-Barrel. So I bring in, I believe, Umbreon. Yes, I do. So we're just trying to get to the foul play. We're almost there. He does get off a charge move, but I know Umbreon is bulky enough to take it, as you could see right there. And we do get off the foul play, hoping to knock out Vaporeon. So it does not knock him out. He actually switches. Now, I make a mistake there because I thought I knocked out Vaporeon. I didn't realize he switched. So I thought the Vaporeon was gone, but it wasn't. So that's a mistake in itself, right? Because I thought the Vaporeon was done. But anyway, I get up my Last Resort, and we are going to go ahead and fire it off against his Umbreon. So it's basically... It's very close. These games are very, very close. Most of these games are very close. So he gets off the Last Resort, totally fine. And we're trying to get to another Last Resort. He gets off another charge move. He goes for Last Resort, but again, we're able to take it. And we get to a Last Resort right now. And this will not knock him out. I try to be sneaky and try to switch in and knock out his Umbreon. And he brings in Vaporeon and he knocks us out. So that's when I realized Vaporeon was still around. And then he knocks out my Umbreon. So it was very close. I thought I had that one, but he does go ahead and win it. So good game. He wins that. We lost to Toshi and we lost to Arrow. So good games. So we're jumping into round 5. So this game annoyed me. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. So I'll explain why when it happens. So I have my Umbreon against his Skunk Tank, right? And yeah, we're just battling as normal. I am going to go ahead and take this attack, which is going to be Sludge Bomb. That's fine. We could take Sludge Bomb. And I am going to go ahead and get off a Last Resort, trying to knock the Skunk Tank out. And he shields it, so we don't knock Skunk Tank out. So I'm fine with that. You know, I either wanted the shield or to knock it out. I'd probably prefer the shield, but... So, anyway, he goes for Crunch, so that's actually good for us. That allows us to get to another Last Resort, as we do. So we're going to go ahead and go for it, and that will knock out the Skunk Tank. And then he brings in his Vaporeon, and he does knock us out, so that's totally fine, no problem. I believe I bring in... Let's see what I bring in. I decided to bring in B-Barrel. And I am just charging up. I didn't want him to get a lot of energy ahead of me. He's a little bit ahead of me. But he is going to go ahead and go for that Aqua Tail. So that's fine. I'm able to take it. I guess he was trying for the bluff. But I knew I could take even a Last Resort, right? Or even a Hydro Pump, should he have it. So I am just trying to knock out his Vaporeon. I decided to keep my shield, so I am up 2 shields. I'm not up 2 shields, I'm up 1 shield, but I have 2 shields. He does knock us out. Then I bring in Alola Ninetales. So here's the problem. He brings in Umbreon, right? So he does lag a little bit, as do I. As you can see, none of us are attacking. And then I do continue to get off, I guess, a couple of charms. And then he quits the battle and he wants a rematch. And I asked the judge, because I was a little salty about that, because I would have won anyway. So I asked the judge, I'm like, what do you think of this? I mean, I was going to win. I was up 2 shields. I had a Ninetales versus Umbreon. The judge said it wasn't a guarantee that I would have won, so replay the game. And I'm not going to lie to you guys, I was a little salty about that. I didn't argue, I didn't complain, I just said okay, and we battled again. But I really was, because if that was me, I would have been like, well, you had this one anyway, so it doesn't matter about the lag. I don't know, what do you guys think? Do you think I'm in the wrong, or do you think I have a right to be upset? I felt a little bit cheated. I mean, it's not about winning, but it's just about being a little bit sneaky in a way. I mean, there was nothing my opponent could do. It doesn't matter. The lag is irrelevant. So, do you think we should be replaying that game or not? Do you think that game should have went to me, or do you think that it should have went it should have been replayed. What do you guys think? Because I'm all for replaying games, but when I'm winning like that, there's nothing. I mean, I was up 2 shields. I could have blocked both attacks. There was nothing he could have done, no matter what. I even said I'll let you get off a free last resort, and we'll continue from there. But no, he didn't want to. So I guess he wanted a rematch because he knew he could win. But either way, let me know what you guys think about it in the comments down below. But as I said, I was a little bit salty about that. That was the only problem I had in this tournament. Everybody else was super cool. Yeah, let me know what you guys think, as I said. And we'll just start commentating over this battle. This is the first battle, keep in mind, because we are replaying it. And we did go in with the same Pokemon, so I might be Bell against his Vaporeon right now. And I am going to go ahead and block this one because I wanted to get to the last resort. And we do block the Aqua Tail, and we are able to get to that last resort. So that's why I use the shield. And this last resort not last resort, excuse me, Hyper Fang. Sometimes I get B-Bell and Vaporeon mixed up, I guess. So I'm going to go ahead and switch right into, not switch, but I'm going to bring in my Alola Ninetales. He is going to go ahead and go for his charge move, and it is going to be last resort. We could take it, and then we're going to be able to not knock out Umbreon because he actually gets to another charge move, and it is going to be another last resort. I didn't think he had enough energy for it, but he did. But we do go ahead and win game 1 anyway. So that was game 1, even though we had to replay it. So yeah, we do go ahead and win game 1 anyway. I would have been even more salty if I lost, but anyway. I leave Nidoqueen. I lead Nidoqueen, he leads Umbreon. I switch into my Alola Ninetales. He takes a little bit long to switch, which is good for me, of course. And we do get to the Psyshock, trying to do a lot of damage to this Vaporeon, right? I mean, we want to get a lot of damage off. He does opt to shield that, even better for me. So he is going to go ahead and go for the charge move. And I do block this because I want to feint the Vaporeon with Charm and have that switch advantage. He actually gets to another charge move, so I am going to let this go, expecting Aqua Tail, expecting to survive it. So we do survive that, but he actually knocks us out with Water Gun, so that's fine. So let's see what happens. So I do decide to bring in Umbreon and knock out his Pokemon. He is going to go ahead and bring in Umbreon, has the charge move ready to go, and it is Foul Play. And we're obviously able to take it. A little surprised that Foul Play came through, but I'm going to go ahead and go for my last resort, just trying to get damage off on Umbreon, because now that my Ninetales is gone, I want to get as much damage as possible. And he does go ahead and go for last resort, totally fine. We could take it, and we're going to go for... Actually, he's going to go for a charge move. I believe I continue to go for last resort. Let's see. He does get off another last resort, and I get off another last resort. I know these Umbreon mirror matches are kind of slow, even sped up. I do apologize for that. We actually get off a Foul Play right now because... I want to? No, because I want to knock him out. He actually shields it, though, so I guess wanting to try and keep the switch advantage, but I do take this attack, which is going to be a last resort. It actually doesn't knock me out, though, so I do get a Foul Play. I thought the Snarls might have knocked me out, but I guess not. That's how tanky Umbreon is, so we are able to feint his Umbreon, and then he brings in B-Bell, and immediately deletes my Pokemon. So this wasn't looking too great for me. I am trying to get to the Earthquake. I knew if I got to the Earthquake I would win, and I knew I could get to the Earthquake because I had 1 shield left. So this really annoyed him when I was able to beat his B-Barrel with my Nidoqueen. So a little bit of justice, but anyway, we do win the game 2-0, so we win this round 5. So we're gonna play a game 4, which is actually in reality a game 3. But anyway, I lead with Umbreon. He leads with his Vaporeon. So I'm just going to charge up. I like this matchup. I'm going to continue charging up. We could take Water Guns. We could take Aqua Tails. We could take Last Resorts. We're going to go for Foul Play. Only getting a grade. My finger slipped and I just missed the Excellent. Whatever, it happens. Going to go ahead and go for another one. We get off in Excellent, and he is going to go ahead and block that. So I'm totally fine with that. And we are going to go ahead and let this Aqua Tail go through. He gets off another charge move. And this is going to be Aqua Tail, which is fine. I mean, we could take Aqua Tails all day long. And we do get to another Foul Play. I love using Umbreon, guys. I really do. Absolutely love it. So let's see. He actually does get to a charge move, and I'm like, do I keep switch advantage? And it's an Aqua Tail, and I decided to let it go down. I wanted to keep the shield advantage over the switch advantage. I could have shielded it and kept the switch advantage, I guess, and even shields. But that's the move I decided to make. And he brings in the Alolan Ninetales, and I am going to go ahead and go for that Hyper Fang. And he's going to do a lot of damage. He lets it go through. Kind of surprised. Usually people like to protect the Alolan Ninetales, but he does let it go through. Anyway, B-Bell comes out. I am going to go ahead and go for the Hyper Fang. And I think he shields this one. Yes, he does, because, you know, he's almost down. Anyway, he knocks out my B-Bell, and I bring in my Alolan Ninetales. So, looking pretty good for me at this point, because we still have 2 shields. So, I'm going to go ahead and use one right now, obviously. He does go for the Hyper Fang. It didn't really matter at this point because I still have 1 more shield, plus I could take a Surf. So I am going to go ahead and block this, and we're just going to be able to feint him down with Charm. So we do go ahead and win round 5. So that was good games. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and jump into round 6. So I lead with Nidoqueen. She leads with Alolan Ninetales. So definitely favorable for me. She's going to pull the switch into Vaporeon. I'm going to switch into my Umbreon. Obviously, we do not want to stay in with Nidoqueen. So I am going to go ahead and take this Aqua Tail. And we're just going to continue to charge up because that's what Umbreon does. So we charge up. And we're going to be hit with an Aqua Tail. That's fine. We're going to get off a Foul Play. And we're just going to fire off the Foul Plays back to back. There goes one. And there goes another. It really wasn't back to back. I tried to make it back to back, but I guess I just clicked on my fast moves. But anyway, the shield does go up. Totally fine with me. I am going to go ahead and let this attack go through. I knew I could take an Aqua Tail. So we do go ahead and take it, and we do get to another Foul Play, but she pulls the switch and catches it with a Alolan Ninetales. So nice switch on her end, but we're going to pull the switch right now into Nidoqueen, and I'm like, maybe I should try and farm down. I decided to go for the Earth Power because I didn't think I could knock it out before she got to a Psyshock, and then that would have taken one of my shields, but that would have still been okay. So I could have done that, but I didn't. Anyway, I do go ahead and shield this Aqua Tail. And we're going to go ahead and go for the Earth Power. I think it was a CMP type. I'm not really too sure. And that will knock out Vaporeon. And then the final Pokemon is going to be that Umbreon. And I didn't think I'd be able to get to an Earth Power, but we're actually able to. So we do get to the Earth Power before she feints us down, which is always nice. And we take that last shield. So I'll definitely take that. And now we bring in Alolan Ninetales. And similar situation as the round before, we have an Alolan Ninetales against the Umbreon, so pretty good. I mean, there's no way, it would be difficult to lose. Obviously, we're going to go ahead and block this, and it is going to be a Foul Play, so I guess blocking the first move, the last resort would have been better, but it doesn't matter. If this is the last resort, we could take it. If it's a Foul Play, we could take it. If it's a Dark Pulse, we could take it. So we do take that last resort, and we do win game 1. So very good game. Very good game. Really nice opponent this round, by the way. She was really nice. So we're going to jump into the next round against Mandas. And I lead with Umbreon, and she leads with Skuntank. So I believe I just stick around, and I am just going for those last resorts just to get as much damage as possible onto the Skuntank. Skuntank, not the bulkiest Pokemon in the world, so obviously it could take hits, it could take last resort, but we're still doing a good amount of damage to it. Sludge Bomb comes at me, that's fine, I could take that. Charge up a little bit, she actually gets off another charge move, and I let it go through. And it is going to be a Sludge Bomb, and it almost knocks me out, so that was really risky, honestly. I do go for the bluff at this point, the Foul Play, hoping to catch a shield. She does not fall for it, unfortunately, so I should have went for the last resort. I was trying to get the bluff, but it didn't happen for me. Anyway, she gets off another charge move. I'm like, oh man, this Skuntank is really doing numbers on me. So I'm going to go ahead and block that crunch and knock out Skuntank. Finally, although she is up a shield, so really not in the greatest position. She does bring in the Umbreon. And I am going to go ahead and go... Well, actually, she's going to go for the charge move. That's how fast Umbreon charges. And I do switch out into my Alolan Ninetales, and I'm just going to town on that Umbreon. Takes a little bit to charge up. That's totally fine. She brings in Vaporeon. And I am going to go ahead and, I believe, let this go through. Yes, I do. It is an Aqua Tail. So I am going to go ahead and go for my Psyshock. And let's see what happens. She does decide to shield that. That's fine. So at least it's 1-1 right now in terms of shields. And she does knock us out. And now I bring in my B-Bell. By the way, guys, I'm sorry if you hear screaming. There's kids outside playing, like basketball or whatever they're playing. I don't know what they're doing. So you might hear a little bit of background noise. So I do apologize for that. But anyway, we go ahead and shield that Vaporeon's attack. And I do go ahead and get off the Surf. And that will knock out Vaporeon, and then she brings in Umbreon, and she's going to get off that Foul Play. So very close game. I think I would have had this if I didn't try and bluff that Foul Play. I don't think it was a mistake. I just think it was, she didn't fall for it. So it's 1-1 in round 6. So I am going to go ahead and lead with my Alolan Ninetales. And she will lead with Vaporeon. And oh man, this video is over an hour, guys. Are you still with me? Let me know if you're still with me. Anyway, we're gonna go ahead and take this attack, which is going to be an Aqua Tail. And I just decide to stick around, and I get off my Psyshock. So I knew I would have to either I knew it would knock her out, or she would use a shield. So she does go ahead and use the shield. That's totally fine. I was hoping to still knock her out, but I wasn't able to do so. And then I bring in my Umbreon, and I know I could take the attacks. Of course, it is an Aqua Tail, so we do take it. And then we're just trying to feint down with Snarl, but she gets off another charge move, and it's going to be Aqua Tail. But we do knock out with Snarl. So we have some energy banked, and she does bring in the Skunk Tank. I am going to go for my Last Resort. And just trying to get as much damage as possible, you guys know. So we're just going to charge up to another Last Resort. And she actually gets off a charge move. So I'm going to go ahead and block it. It is going to be a Sludge Bomb. So a little bit happy I blocked that. I do charge up extra. And then I decide to fire off the Last Resort just to see if she's going to shield it. She does decide to shield this one. So that's where the bait would have come in handy. But we do get off another Last Resort. So let's see if she decides to block this one. She does not. And it does not feint Skunk Tank. So I do let my Umbreon go down because it's already low. And then I bring in my B-Barrel to knock out Skunk Tank. So it's my B-Barrel versus her Umbreon. So if I was up 2 shields, I would say I probably had this. But it's really not a great situation for me. We're going to be hit with a Foul Play, which will take my shield. And then, Hyper Fang and Surf are just not going to do enough because that Umbreon is charging up Foul Play super fast, right? So it was close. It was close. I mean, we're going to take one Foul Play, which we can definitely take. But we get off another Surf. Now, this Surf actually does not knock out Umbreon, and I knew that it wouldn't, so I should have went for the Hyper Fang, but I didn't think I'd have time to get to it before she got to another Foul Play. So I panicked and clicked on Surf. Could I have gotten to that Hyper Fang? I don't think so, but she does go ahead and win round 6, but it's okay because she was a really strong opponent. So I do lead into round 7 with my Umbreon, and she leads with B-Barrel. So we just saw this matchup where my opponent had the Umbreon and I had the B-Barrel. Anyway, this opponent is running the Alolan Ninetales Umbreon Nidoking, Skunk Tank, B-Barrel, and Linoon. So I am just charging up energy, trying to get those Foul Plays back to back as we like to do it, right? So we do hit this B-Barrel, and then we're going to hit it again with Foul Play, another Foul Play. And that will be met with a shield. So at least we take a shield. Umbreon likes to take shields, doesn't it? So we're going to fire off another one. So are we going to take the next shield? Let's find out. A little bit of lag on both of our end, but we decided didn't really matter. We do get off the Foul Play, and that will be met with a shield. So again, we have more lag, but she gets off a charge move, so she was cool with it. I was cool with it. She did ask me if I wanted a rematch because I may have missed a Snarl or two, but I wasn't really interested in a rematch. Like I didn't really care about it too much. So I bring in my Ninetales and I switch immediately into B-Barrel, and she switches into Umbreon. So now, unfortunately, it's Umbreon versus my B-Barrel. I wish it was my Ninetales versus Umbreon, but it is not. So we're going to be hit with a Dark Pulse, doing a good amount of damage. Wow, that does a lot of damage. So I'm going to go ahead and fire off the Hyper Fang. I was pretty confident, though, because I was still up 2 shields, and I also have the Alolan Ninetales. So I just have to do as much damage as possible with B-Barrel, as we are doing. So we're going to be hit with another charge attack, and that's going to be Dark Pulse. And that will knock us out, that's fine. I wanted it to knock us out because I wanted to feint the Umbreon, and now it's my Alolan Ninetales versus Linoone, and I basically knew I had this one. I mean, Shadow Claws are not doing much to my Alolan Ninetales, and obviously I have 2 shields, so I'm going to block whatever moves it is. I do decide to go for the Ice Beam. I could have just fainted down, but it's okay. It doesn't really matter. We go for that Ice Beam, and we do go ahead and knock out the Pokemon. So we do go ahead and win game 1 in round 7. So we're almost to the end, guys. Anyway, this is the next game. I do lead with my Umbreon, and she leads with B-Barrel. So I, again, like this matchup. We're just charging up energy, and I am going to go ahead and take this move. Whatever it happens to be, it is going to be a Hyper Fang. So again, we could take it, and now what Umbreon likes to do is fire back-to-back charge moves, back-to-back foul plays. So we do go ahead and hit that foul play, and we hit another foul play ASAP. So as you can see, hitting another foul play, and then we're just going to try and feint down the B-Barrel as we do with Snarl. This time, she is not going to use any shields, which is totally fine by me. I'm going to go for my last resort, and I do get it, and we switch immediately, trying to do as much damage with Charm, and we do a decent amount before she switches out, and she brings in Skunk Tank. So again, I've mentioned it before, this is an okay matchup. I mean, it's a pretty even matchup. I mean, we take a lot of damage, she takes a lot of damage, so anyway, we're trying to feint it down. We both actually feint. I was trying to feint her. I thought I would get her before she got me, but it was actually a tie. Anyway, I bring in my B-Barrel against Umbreon. I am going to go ahead and shield this. And I thought we were in a pretty good position, but now that she is up 2 shields, we really are not, because Water Gun is just not going to be enough to knock out Umbreon before she is able to knock me out. And I know she has 2 shields, so obviously, I mean, these serfs are not going to be doing much of anything, but they're not actually going to be doing anything at all, because she has 2 shields. So I am trying to take the shield. So I bring in my Umbreon, and she gets off a last resort, and we go for the foul play just to burn the shield. I knew she had to use a shield at this point, right? So we do go ahead and claim that shield, and she gets to a charge move. I was afraid she was going to try and farm me down and then use a charge move, so I'm actually glad she used the charge move. And then I bring in my B-Barrel. I'm like, we could do it. And she gets to a foul play before we're able to get to that surf. We were there, guys, we were there. But she does go ahead and win game 2 in round 7. So very good game. So this is the next game. And we're going to lead with Nidoqueen against Alolan Ninetales, so definitely catching the lead, unless if that had Powder Snow, but it doesn't. She brings in Skunk Tank, and I decide to stay in just to get off the Earth Power, because I knew she would probably want to shield that as she does. So I'm going to go ahead and switch into Umbreon, hoping to catch this crunch, expecting a crunch, and it is a crunch. So we do go ahead and successfully catch that, so at least we take the energy from Skunk Tank. She's going to go ahead and go for another charge move. Let's see if it's going to be another crunch. It is, so we're able to take it. I guess to be fair, the damage is adding up, but that's okay. I'm okay with that. We're going to go ahead and get off a last resort, and that will do a good amount of damage to Skunk Tank. And then I was like, okay, we should be able to feint down with this foul play, and it does knock out Skunk Tank, and she brings in the Alolan Ninetales, so that's not good for us. Wasn't even able to get to a foul play, and then I bring in my Nidoqueen, and I knew I would have to shield once she got to a Psyshock, so gonna go ahead and shield this, expecting a Psyshock. It is a Psyshock, so Psyshock, Ice Beam, I have to shield whichever one it is, right? So she brings in Umbreon, and I decide to go for the Earthquake, not expecting the shield because, Umbreon can take it. So she does not shield, and I'm like, okay, well, I think I could take the last shield if I can get to an Earth Power, and I should be able to get to an Earth Power, so I do get to one. Charge up a little bit extra, and I knew the shield had to come out at this point, right? I mean, we had to take the last shield, as we do, and then I decide to switch into my B-Barrel and try and feint down the Umbreon. And the Umbreon will go for a last resort, doing a good amount of damage to me, but no biggie. I was actually trying to feint down the Umbreon. I think that was a mistake. I should have went for Surf, probably, because that's able to knock me out. Yeah, I definitely should have. But either way, we bring in Nidoqueen, and she brings in Alolan Ninetales, and we get to the Earth Power, and we win anyway. That mistake probably should have cost me the game, but luckily she wasn't that enough for a Psyshock. But we do go ahead and win round 7, so very good game, very nice opponent as well. And we're going to jump into the final game, and guess who we're battling? None other than Jokes in the final round. Can you believe it? It all comes down to this, right? I mean, obviously we're not in the finals, but this is the final round, round 8. He has Alolan Ninetales, Umbreon, Raichu, Skuntank, he has Vaporeon, and Piloswine. So, very interesting. It's actually a mirror match, an Umbreon mirror match, of course. So, we're going to go ahead and take this attack, and it's going to be a last resort, so you've seen this plenty of times before. It's just last resort after last resort after last resort, etc. Right? But we're going to go for another one, and he is going to go for one. So what I could only assume to be a last resort. So he also managed to trade for a last resort Umbreon. Not at the tournament. He traded for one before, I think a few days ago. I'm not sure when it was, but he was able to get one a while ago. Not a while ago, but before the tournament. Anyway, I go for my last resort, and I try to be a little bit sneaky. I try to knock out Umbreon with this charm, but it didn't work out that way. He switches out ASAP into Vaporeon, and he even said, he's like, you're not going to charm me down like that. So maybe I shouldn't have tried that. I wanted to save my Umbreon and knock out his with charm, but anyway, we go for the Psyshock against Vaporeon, taking a shield. I'll take that. And then we do go ahead and knock out Vaporeon, but we're very low, but at least we knocked it out, right? And his Umbreon is low as well. So he brings in Raichu, knocking me out, and I'm like, after I see my Pokemon, I'm like, this is actually not a good matchup for me because my Umbreon is really weak, and I have a B-Barrel, which is obviously really weak to electric moves, so I do go ahead and shield that, and now he brings in his Umbreon, and I actually shield this as well. Foul play, just so I can knock him out and try. My idea was to knock him out and use my energy against his Raichu, but he still had a shield left. So now I bring in B-Bell. I knock out his Umbreon, but he has the Cantonian Raichu, so there was no way I was going to win this. What I could have done, maybe, I don't know. His Wild Rush just going to obliterate me. I don't know. I mean, that Raichu, if I didn't have B-Battle, if I had Nidoqueen, I would have won, but, it's nothing you can do about it. So, for game 2, I lead with Nidoqueen, he leads with Vaporeon, so I have to get out ASAP into my Umbreon. I cannot stick around, and, so far, he's going for charge moves, so that tells me he might not have an Alolan Ninetales with him, and obviously he doesn't because he didn't switch into it, so that was good for me. So I am going to go ahead and go for the last resort against his Skuntank, and we get to another last resort, but he is able to get to a charge move, which I am going to allow to go through. It is going to be a Sludge Bomb, but I knew I could take it, and I am going to go for last resort against his Skuntank. And that's fine. So trying to get to a foul play, we actually are successfully able to get to it. So I wasn't sure if he would block and try to get to a charge move. I guess that's what he's doing. So he does block, and he actually just goes and tries to feint me down instead of going for a charge move. So nicely played. I do bring in my Nidoqueen, and I do decide to shield this one up because I don't want to take that damage. And I am just trying to feint him down with Poison Gems. We do manage to feint him down, so that's fine. I switch immediately, and then he switches immediately into Umbreon. I'm like, yes, he switched. That was a blind switch. That was a blind switch. So at this point, I was feeling confident about the game. At this point. So I'm just trying to knock him down with charms, of course. So I decide to let this go through. It's actually another last resort. I did not think it would be another last resort. I should have blocked one of those last resorts. And then he brings in his Vaporeon, so it was looking good for me. But similar to game one, I bring in a Pokemon, like my last Pokemon against his last Pokemon is just very weak to what he has. Like in the first game, my Bibarel was obviously weak to Raichu, and now my Nidoqueen is weak to his Vaporeon. I could have went for the Earth Power, but he had a shield, so I was just trying to feint him down. You know, it wouldn't have mattered. So he actually wins that. He actually wins the last round against me. So good game. Good game, but we are going to play a game 3. So let's see, at least, you know, maybe he won't beat me game 3. So let's see. He leads with Raichu. I lead with Umbreon. So that's fine. He does have Brick Break. But again, that is okay. So I am just going to town with Umbreon. He is going to fire off a charge move, what I can only assume to be a Brick Break, as it is. So that's fine. I am going to go ahead and go for the Foul Play. And we're just going to try to do as much damage as possible against the Raichu. We actually had back-to-back Foul Plays, but I don't know, I clicked on it, but it just went for a fast move. So he is able to get off his Wild Charge against me, but that's fine. We're able to take that as well. So I go for a Foul Play, and he will shield that. So at least we take a shield from him, and we almost get to the Foul Play, but we're not able to. I take this attack. It is a break. We're actually able to take it and go for another Foul Play. However, he switches to catch the Foul Play, but I'm okay with a Foul Play going into a Vaporeon anyway. So I pull the switch into my own Bibarel. Didn't want to get him to get up ahead of energy. Didn't want him to get to that last resort. At least much faster than I was able to. So he does hit me with an Aqua Tail, and I'm just charging up energy. We fire off the Hyper Fang, and that will knock out Vaporeon, and then he will decide which one he wants to bring in next. Let's see what he decides. He decides Skunk Tank, so that's fine. I'm trying to take his last shield, so I do go ahead and go for Surf. And let's see if we are able to take it. We do. So that was good. We are up 2 shields, so we're looking pretty good. So let's see. Maybe he won't beat us 3-0. Maybe he won't. So he does knock us out. And which one do I bring in? I decide to bring in the Umbreon. It faints immediately. And then I bring in my final Pokemon, Alolan Ninetales. And I knew I'd be able to charm him down. Now, keep in mind, I am up 2 shields. Obviously, I have to burn one. I was expecting a crunch, as it is. But I couldn't afford to take any damage. His Raichu's gone with Charm, and then his Skunk Tank is going to be gone. So at least he didn't beat us 3-0. The only person that beat us 3-0 is Arrow. So good game, fun tournament, and now we're going to take a look at some pictures right now. So we have me and the guy who gave me the Shiny Kyogre plush. So thank you so much for that. I really appreciate it. We have me, Jokes, Matty F. Baby. We have King, Jokes, and me. Then we have, who is up next? We have Shagness, me, and Jokes, of course. And then we have me and Valor Ash. And then the last photo is me and House Stark right now. So that's going to be it for this one, guys. See you next one. Have a good day. Bye.